At Pure Sound Dell, we deal with principles, the essence of the thing, the root, the root, boiling it down to the root. And we believe when you tap into that thought, you tap into the connection of all different areas of your life. We have a concept that I call business for the win. And it's business over everything else. Only if you can recognize what business is service. Travis Sotawell, it's Pure Sound Daily Business. Business is service. I would also say, if I want to make a metaphorical connection of your private, your internal, your introverted self, that being one side, again, the private side, what you're interested in, who you are, etc., character, your integrity, your values, and the extroverted part of yourself connected directly to what business is. You're exporting something. You're giving of yourself outside of yourself. Again, service. Business being service. How do we serve? And the problem with the concept of what business is in these days and times, and has been built up to be, especially over the course of the history of the United States, is doing business is what you get. That you're in business so you can get something. And that's just false. You're in business to give value, to be of service. And when you do that, with what you like to do, with who you like to do it with, you inherently get more out of that than any transaction. This is the true principle of business, the essence of business. I like to break it all the way down, as I said in the opening, down to its root, down to the boiling it down to the root. And when it all boils down, this is what separates the freaks, the creeps, and the frauds from the righteous and those that are of service, doing the good work, uplifting people, helping people unfold, being of help, making connection, building. These are all words that I use synonymously with business. So it falls back on intention, the individual intention of the person or people. Talking about business, I'm about to go into corporation, we can say, or persons. And this is where we get into these entities that we've created. Businesses we've created, governments we've created, things outside of ourselves that we've created, and we begin to take on the values of the thing and let the thing dictate how we operate instead of sticking to our values, our vision, our goals, our mission as a collection of individuals and shape the entity, the business, the idea, the thing outside of ourselves. We shape that in our image. This is where the thinking is so important, and our fundamentals of thinking, asking, and doing. And to have your thoughts in the correct place, which at the time of this recording, we're working on rolling out our concept of. This is why I'll go as far as to say most of us need a good brainwashing, because we have dirty minds. This is where we bring in our fundamentals of thinking, asking, and doing. The mental part being the thinking of the conscious and the unconscious mind, the asking being the boundary of mind as far as what we take in to our thoughts, and outside of ourselves, again, the introverted, what we take in, the internal, the mental part, and then the extroverted part, what we speak out into the world, as well as speak out to ourselves also. And then that going into the doing, what we do in the outside world, extroverted of ourselves. But this being primarily, we're talking about the root and the thinking piece and how we work to correct our thinking. You know, when I was in a bad state of mind myself, and some of it, I would say probably about 50-50. 50 was with the bad input, the miseducation I was getting, and the other 50% was my own ego. So these are the things we will constantly be working with, overcoming. These are the breakthroughs internally, mentally. The breakthrough of old thinking, we need to update that. We need a software update. We need to rewrite the code sometimes. Sometimes it can be a very painful process. This applies to anyone. We're talking about principles of humanity, of being a human, of having a brain. So it doesn't matter if you're making hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, or you're homeless, not making any money. But, I'm not saying homeless people can't make money. I'm just trying to look for a parallel, the margins here. You could say you're a child, you're a baby. However, I'm not talking to children here. I'm talking to adults. Because that's where that innocence piece gets in, is that, it wasn't your fault for what was put into you at that vulnerable stage in your life. But now that you're an adult, it is time for you to be an adult, which this is the adult work. This is the taking authorship of your life and writing the life you want to live. Which writing the life you want to live means rewriting the old thoughts, rewriting the old feelings, rewriting the old meanings. This is what we have to do to tap into and excel and make that breakthrough internally. And we have to pull and correct what we know consciously. We have to be open and being honest and doing the work with our conscious thoughts. And as we dust those off, correct them, clean them up, get rid of them, get new ideas coming in, then we uncover some old thoughts. And we have to work with that. The old things that were unconscious. Unconscious meaning just the thoughts we didn't know we were thinking. It has been a lot. And I've tapped into these principles and the essence of it, because when I was so low and just had a savage mindset and just surviving, now that was a step up, was surviving, because I was on the edge. I was on that edge of going into survival mode, but I was fortunate to stay in surviving. I stayed in that state for a long time, just surviving and having a savage mindset with that. Savage being just, when I wasn't sober, it was drinking, partying, where the girls at. And then when I wasn't drinking, it was where the girls at, where the pleasure at. How could I fulfill my base needs? My school of thought, we would say the carnal nature, all these carnal thoughts. And it wasn't till got to replace old programming with new programming. You got to replace new ideas, or excuse me, you got to replace the old ideas with the new ideas. It's more painful to just have someone tell you or to try it yourself to get rid of old ideas, so to speak. It's painful. Sometimes it can be impossible. So it's far more human, far more righteous to, if you're a teacher, a coach, parent, guide, to give someone something new that they can replace these old ideas with. Sometimes it's just an option. The option of, do you have to do it that way? Are you really that who you say you are? Is business really all just creeps and frauds? Right? Is sales, we're pitching and, oh, this is scummy? Or is it being of service? Is it that you have value to give that can transform someone, and your own thoughts, your ego is making it about you instead of making it about them? Travis Sotawell, it's Pure Sound Daily Business. And are you making it about them? Are you being of service? Peace.